そうなるか。いいわよ。私が出してあげる。今日は臨時収入があったから、パーッと派手に使いましょう。
Ako's sudden proposal made both Sojiro and Alice perk up.
つまり青崎のおごり。
そんな、信じられない。いいの、青子。呼んじゃったものは今さら止められないでしょ。さっき電話したんなら、今頃はもう坂を登ってきてるだろうし、まあそもそもこのお金も宗十郎が発端だしね。
Oh.
人助けをしたら被害者の会からお礼をもらっちゃったのよ。だから気にしないで。なんか居心地悪かったし、錠剤と思って。
Yeah, I guess it does go back into the community.
本音言うとちょっともったいないけどね。
Her roommates began celebrating. Ako sank back onto the sofa upon seeing the happiness her gesture brought.
ああ、悪戦身につかずって言うけど、ほんとその通り。
How much did they
臨時収入
order?
は泡と消えた。
And thus, the curtain closed on a little instant, involving a lot of cash. The blue robin flew down to the table again.
全く嫌な山だったぜ。
The robin chirped and mimicked puffing on a cigarette.
まあそれは
Is
そ
that
れ
a
として
reference?
青子さんの空回りっぷりを忘れないよう、これをカーモネーギー事件として記録しとくっすね。
Gravel and grit, I think that shit. The blue robin continued to laugh at the day's hero. The bird is dead. Ako flicked the bird away just as someone knocked at the door.
Hi, Uber Eats.
Alice had ordered her favorite omelet dish and a set of cakes from the
ま
cafe.
あそれなら。
Ako was quietly satisfied with the spoils of an honest day's work. Case for the president. Carnegie case. Carnegie. Well, that was long. That was longer than I expected. It started really good. It kind of started to peter off, and then it got really, really boring. And then it actually got much better. The final talk there was really nice, actually. Like that it kind of affected me a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. So thank you all for watching, everyone, and we will see you all right friggin' now for some more. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Read Witch on the Holy Night. We're actually moving on with the main story with Scar Red. Oh, I get it. It's wordplay. We're moving on. It's going to be great. Actually, back home in Canada, both copies of Witch on the Holy Night have arrived at my house. The Japanese physical edition and the English physical edition. Tanner, does that mean you've bought the game 4 times? Yes. Yes. Because if I just bought 3, there was a chance that one sale would be enough to localize Tsukihime Remake, so I did my due diligence. And you should too. Anyways, let's move on to the next episode. The filler stuff, not filler, but the bonus stuff was good. But now we're going in like real plot. December, the month where even monks were busy at work. It was the culmination of the year. Perhaps due to all the put-off tasks that build up through the seasons, the month always seemed to pass by in the blink of an eye. It was a day like any other in December. Ooh, we get a running title card. Ooh. Though none of them were any the wiser to what the others were doing, Aoko, Alice, and Sojiro had spent the day attending to their own affairs. Oh, that sky. Oh, that sky is so beautiful. Why is the title still there?
何これ。
Huh? Suppressing the urge to murder someone, which is kind of your mood all the time if I'm being real. Her terrifying voice boomed across the room. The sunroom was often used to dine in when the weather was nice, since it overlooked the courtyard. It was a room decorated with high-quality furniture and upholstery befitting a historic Western-style mansion. The fusion of Chinese Chippendale aesthetics. The what? I've never heard of what that is. Isn't Chippendale the squirrels from Kingdom Hearts? And also strippers? Okay. The fusion of Chinese Chippendale aesthetics and traditional English Gregorian elegance caused even Aoko, a commoner, to think twice about doing anything unaristocratic on the grounds. Truthfully, she was sickened by the flagrant waste of money, but none of it was paid for out of her pocket, so she could have cared less what the purchaser spent their money on. 3 unbelievably out-of-place offerings sat atop the lavish sunroom's table, as if enshrined. I hope one of them's a Super Nintendo. Oh. In stark contrast to the room, they appeared like meals prepared by aliens. Marcianitos.
宗十郎、これ、なんか新しい冗談。
She's out here being like, you having a giggle, mate. What's wrong? Aoko's trembling fists clenched and unclenched as she questioned the one responsible for today's menu. Today's menu for the Ozaki family. The clock struck 9 in the evening. That is a late supper. The chef in charge nodded dutifully, eager to explain. Is it that he's putting cheap store-bought ramen in the fine china? Is that what we're doing?
これはうちの会社の新製品。
Oh.
パチモン臭いが、中身は本当にパチモンだ。と木の実が言ってた。
Dang.
でも俺は本物よりいいと思う。
It looks and tastes fake, but it's better than... Huh.
そんなことより評価すべきは、社内販売なんで1個40円を切る低価格だ。
Sorry, they're 40 cents each? My man, that's a deal.
すごいぞ。卵をつけても60円とか。
Yeah, 60 cents for a dinner? I'll take that. The lackluster chef seemed pleased with himself as he boasted. Aoko wanted to grumble that the real deal was her appetite.
そう、よかったわね。ところで、今日の夕飯はどこにあるの？
The chef thought for a sec or two and clapped his hands together in revelation.
青崎、そんなに食べると太るよ。
Buddy, I know you're not one for talking to girls, but you don't ever say the F word.
つまり、これが夕飯だって言い張る気なのね、あんたは。
言い張るも何も、これ以外用意していない。
You'll either eat dinner or you're having nothing, is the argument my parents made with me. Just kidding. That would be nice. I'd rather my parents have made me just be... Like, you know, some parents are just like, well, if you're not going to eat this dinner, then you don't get anything. I wish that was my case. No, I was sat at the table and I was told, you will eat this food. You will eat it. It has been prepared for you. And even if you have to sit here all night, you are staying here till it's gone. Maybe that's why I eat too much sometimes and freak out if I see uneaten food on a dinner table. Huh. Who knew? The two stood there, glaring at each other. Aoko gave off an air that said she would rather die than eat his food, while Sojiro was convinced she would capitulate eventually. So confident, he even considered chiding her about being so picky. As usual, the two could not see eye to eye.
いや、私は食べないからね、こんなの。
Aoko, you're gonna be in university soon. Trust me. The noodle diet, you'll need to get used to it. Trust me.
お姫様みたいなこと言うんじゃない。だいたい、今日の夕食代はこれで3名様、200円未満なんだぞ。
Now, I know, in your mind, that's a positive, but it's also a negative to other people. Sojiro puffed his chest out at his penny-pinching prowess. Good alliteration. Alice alternated her gaze between the two quarreling roommates and the strange food before her, which she had also never seen before. She remained a mere bystander in all this. Okay, the way she just, like, lightly touches, like, she's not even, like, covering her mouth. She's, like, lightly touching her chin. It's such a gentle pose that it's almost hilarious.
信じられない。一人60円の食事って、あんた一体いつの生まれよ。このご時世、新しくできた牛丼屋ですら贅沢に原価上げてるわよ、バカ。
青崎、1ヶ月の食費が3万円だけで、あんな好き勝手な食生活をしていたら、俺が君たちに殺される前に 全員が飢え死ぬと思うんだ。
30,000 yen for food each month. That is $300 for food, right? Unless we're doing, yeah, 30,000. For 3 people, that's $100 each for food. Yeah, no, you need some days where you're pulled back a bit.
確かに、昨日のアリスの肉料理は素晴らしかった。
Oh.
グラム700円から肉は種類が変わるんだって感動した。
Oh.
生協の果汁 100% ジュースだって、ちょっと本気でバカにできるもんじゃないと反省したよ。けど、あれが3日続いたら、この家はどうなってしまうんだい？
That is another very good expression. Sojiro was making perfect sense for once. Fortunately, neither Aoko nor Sojiro noticed the silent stare of disapproval coming from Alice.
その時はその時よ。それにね、昨日みたいなのはめったにないの。アリスはあんたの料理に触発されて柄にもなく頑張ったみたいだけど。
With Aoko's words, Alice closed her eyes. She might have been trying to quell her anger.
信じられない。じゃあ、今までどんな生活してたんだ、青崎たちは。
He is such a male wife.
その時はそれぞれで何とかやってたわ。飢え死に一歩手前ぐらいいい精神修行じゃない。
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. And this sucks to say, I don't 100% disagree with her. Like, when I first moved here, and I really had very little options in terms of food and just had to get by with what I was able to get because I literally could not pay for stuff. The only thing I could pay for was with what like little money I brought with me. Couple, like probably about $100 at that point. You get creative. And I hate to say it, but I really felt alive at that time. But, you know, of course, I was never in any danger, and I had the phone numbers of, other people that if I truly was in a situation where I had no food, I would be able to get some, right? So real starvation isn't bad, but at the same time, you know, as I say, play hungry. If you're doing something important, play hungry. Her brazen response left him speechless. Though a story for another time, Sojiro remembered a warning from a certain vice president who was complaining about a certain president incessantly bugging him to take her to lunch at the end of the month. But that was neither here nor there.
そんな昔のことより今のこと。前に見せたあの腕はどこに行ったのよ、宗十郎。あれを見込んで今日の夕飯を任せたっていうのに。
It is really funny that you're getting this mad over what is a completely normal, like, student lunch. Out of everything, that seemed to be what ate at Aoko the most. The stir-fried yaki udon he had prepared previously had been very well received, and it even melted away Aoko's morning grumpiness with just one bite. However, Sojiro had not seen fit to tell them that it was one of the only dishes in his limited repertoire. For a bachelor, the ability to cook is as close to a superpower as one could get. Dang! Look at me! I'm a real superhero then. 15 years in the future would likely become a highly desirable trait. Nice. I got that. Regardless, that misunderstanding had led Aoko and Alice to overestimate Sojiro's culinary talents. Her ire finally made sense to Sojiro.
わかった。自腹を切るから出前を取ろう。作るにしても材料がないからな。
Now, when you say that, do you mean there's actually nothing here to cook, or do you open up the fridge to it being full and you're like, no, nothing to cook?
その代わり、それは回収する。
Aoko basked in her victory. It was then, after seeing Sojiro's face as he went to fetch the delivery menu, Aoko realized her misreading of him. What annoyed Aoko most was the fact that such little effort was put into dinner. But to Sojiro, this dinner had not been about cutting corners, but rather a meal he had legitimately wanted to try. Aww. Aoko ruminated on how it could possibly pass as food for someone raised in the mountains. And then...
Alice, 何してるの?
Oh, did Alice just dig in? Aoko noticed Alice standing near the table, holding one of the bowls tightly.
もうそれはいいんだってば。宗十郎に返してきちんとした出前にしましょう。
That doesn't look that bad. It just... noodles with broth and egg on top? I'd probably take the egg off myself. I'm not a fan of egg, but... Despite Aoko's words, Alice stood her ground, firmly clutching the bowl. In fact, she seemed to be embracing it.
これ 私のだから。
Aw, look at her. Alice's faint voice drifted across the sunroom. Oh, it means so much to her. A cooked meal's a cooked meal. She can feel the love. And just like that, the night's menu had been decided by majority rule. Aoko's shoulders sank in disappointment at her lot that evening. Come to think of it, Alice was always peculiar about things she deemed were hers. Are we just going to skip ahead? So we're not going to get Aoko eating it and being like, no, it's pretty good, actually. It's fine. God. She's kind of a bag, but then again, she's our bag. It was morning, and there were 10 days left in December. While the rest of the city were preparing for Christmas festivities, Sojiro headed to his part-time job. All right. Now, here's the question. Also, I can't get over the bean store. I just see that again. But here's the question. When did KFC come to Japan? Would it be here by now? Oh yeah, 1970. So that means that the Kentucky Fried Christmas is a go, baby. That's also here in China, actually. I was really, really surprised. Dang, it's so strange. International KFC is wild. Though it looked like it could snow at any minute, the tree-lined streets were bustling with people. These days were particularly merry. Students on winter break spent their days hanging out with friends while they counted down the days until the seasonal holidays. A flashy banner for Christmas cakes, huge advertisements adorning the building fronts, the station plaza bustling with pop-up stalls. Okay. You put in a card, you press the number, and then you can take the... Okay, so, I've, as someone who knows and collects ye olde anime and gaming goods, I've heard the phrase phone card many times, but I'm gonna be honest here, I have no damn clue what a phone card is. What is a phone card? I'm assuming it has something to do with putting your card in here. In fact, I think actually one of the pre-order bonuses for getting MiHoYo on PC was an exclusive phone card. What a strange thing that I know nothing about. I'm sure, and it's funny because like it's not like I was raised in a world without payphones. Maybe that's just a Japan thing because I've never heard of them in the West, right? From among the crowd in this heaving district, Sojiro stepped into a phone booth. Safe from the winter wind, the inside seemed warm by comparison. The thought that it would actually be nice to have one in the mountains crossed his mind as he inserted a coin into the phone. He dialed a number from memory, his hand moving on its own. That's how you know this game takes place in the past. Do you think I've memorized any phone numbers right now? The only phone numbers I memorize are the ones I memorized as a kid before phones could save them. Yeah, God, this is a marked change. After about 5 seconds, the phone began to ring. Another 5 seconds, another ring. 10 seconds had passed. He gazed through the window at the various signs on the surrounding buildings and marveled at the sheer number of people out and about so early. The number he dialed was that of Tobimaru Tsukiji. The Tsukiji name was well known in Misaki as a distinguished landowner family going back generations. Incidentally, their residence was located in the neighboring town of Yashirogi. The ringtone was finally replaced by the kind voice of an elderly woman. After a polite greeting, she handed over the phone to Sojiro's target.
Ohayo, Tobimaru.
Oh, you are not a morning person. He was still half asleep, or so it sounded to Sojiro.
一つ相談があるんだけど、いいか?
ああ、陽気に計らえ。
His response did not exactly inspire confidence in Sojiro, but he cut right to the chase. The Vice President's pause was a long one. He was hard to read from this end of the receiver.
単純なことで俺を起こすな。いいか、宗次郎。仲が悪けりゃ遊びに行け。機嫌を取りたきゃいいとこ見せろ。で、それが合わなきゃ早めに手を切れ。俺ができるアドバイスはそんなもんだ。
Sojiro's like, please, just tell me what easy to obtain items I can give to her once a day so that she gets enough hearts in her diary that I can give her the blue feather. He's like, what the frick are you talking about, buddy? And with a piece, Tobimaru hung up. It may have been 10 in the morning to Sojiro, but after dealing with what seemed like a 6 o'clock Tobimaru, all he could do was accept his advice. He could say all he liked about the guy's tone, but deep down he knew that his advice, well, was sound. After the phone ordeal, Sojiro finished up his shopping and returned to the mansion just before noon. He was greeted by the sight of Aoko and Alice sitting in silent gloom. Though unsure of the circumstances, from the outside looking in, it seemed like the aftermath of an argument. It was similar to the calm after a violent blizzard accompanied by biting winds and stinging hail. Those are tough words to say back to back. Or a similar atmosphere to the inside of an industrial freezer. Okay, I've had multiple people point out that yes, it would make sense that he would go into a freezer. He worked at a restaurant, which of course you can, like, those are rooms that you open up and go in. That makes more sense. Gonna be honest, I've never worked a restaurant job. Would not have been surprising to look up and see icicles hanging from the ceiling.
やっぱり今日もか。
He felt like a zookeeper, pained to see the raccoon and the penguin at each other's throats. Sorry. What? Why are those two? Why specifically those two? But like, why would they be anywhere near each other? Those animals are so, like, if you said like the penguin and the freaking, you know, what's that called? The little other bird, the seabird that's out in the ocean, but like the puffin. If it's like a penguin and puffin, okay, sure, they're similar. Or you said like the raccoon and the mole rat, you know, like another, like, but these two creatures would never, whatever, why am I, Right, we gotta get rid of that raccoon. That was a terrible Penguins of Madagascar impression. What was I doing? He had seen, that was Joe Swanson. He had seen this at his job at the zoo where he was a cleaner. Sojiro found himself staring at them with the familiar forlorn look of the zookeeper. Don't look at women as animals, please. Needless to say, the silence meant that they were not fighting at this moment. Dinner served as a respite from the infighting. Sojiro was oblivious to the circumstances surrounding the quarrel, but their day-in day-out battles against the mysterious mage was clearly taking a toll.
もっともアリスはいつも通りだけど。
Except when she grabs your food, buddy. Facing a quiet and contemplative Aoko, Alice was reading an old book, now sat on her lap, as she was accustomed to. The book seemed somehow heavier than the other ones.
ただいま。煮詰まってるな、ここんところ。
He asked them as he took off his coat.
煮詰まるぐらい事態が進んでるならまだ面白みもあるんでしょうけどね。今のご用よ、宗十郎。
ん?
Without quite knowing what Aoko was getting at, Sojiro quizzically tilted his head. He told himself not to think too hard into it, but he could not entirely help it.
煮詰まってるってことはもうじき完成ってことでしょ。進展がないって意味合いなら行き詰まってると言うべきね。
Seemingly too preoccupied to scold Sojiro, Aoko waved her hand as though shooing off an insect. But Sojiro being Sojiro...
じゃあ言い直して。いや、あれから進展はあったかい?
Sojiro was not willing to give up and held his ground.
宗十郎には関係ないわ。
Dang.
こっちの事情に関しては不可侵だって言わなかった？
Her response was calm, but sharp. Sure, surliness was her weapon of choice, and today she seemed determined to swing it at will.
もちろん聞いてる。ところで、お昼はまだだろ?
Look at this little meow meow of a human. Sojiro chose to brush off Aoko's attitude. If Aoko's weapon was surliness, Sojiro's was blitheness. And he wielded just enough to make Aoko flinch.
どうしたの今日は？何かいいことでもあったわけ？
You're doing that face again. You know, that face. Sojiro shrugged his shoulders.
まだなんだ。じゃあ、ちょっと提案がある。
He said as he dug into the pocket of his now hung-up coat. Aoko gave a puzzled stare, while Alice's ears perked up at how positive he sounded.
実は今日給料日だったんだ。お金も入ったことだし、外に遊びに行こう。
That sounds lovely. He spoke with a warm smile as he removed his wallet from his coat pocket. The other two did not know what to make of it.
宗十郎。
She wanted to take exception to his bright mood, but found herself wrestling with the idea of reacting positively to it. After all, he was making a gesture of good faith to try and make things better with what little funds he had. The thought itself was not a bad one, and she wanted to accept his earnest goodwill, but there was always the chance that Alice would keep quiet until the slightest thing annoyed her, at which point she would dash all their plans. However, she was not in the mood to walk around town with either of the two, nor was the timing ideal.
悪いけど、今忙しいの。暇になったら思い出してあげるから、しばらく我慢して。
Hey, if something ever is given a thing of, yeah, we'll do it some other time, it'll never happen. I'd rather someone just say no. I know they're being polite, but like, just say no, and just say you're not, you know. Alice seemed to give the same response, though wordlessly. Sojiro was not about to be held back by the sullen mood.
忙しいって、ここで黙り合ってるだけじゃないか。
Oh, epic clapback. Disgusting. Maximum damage.
徹夜漬けの時、気分転換は必要だって言ったのは青崎だろ。行き詰まったら回り右して戻らないとどこにも行けない。
I swear if he takes them out and that's where they run into the enemy mage, that'll be amazing. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Sojiro spoke with unusual confidence as he drew 2 tickets from his wallet and slapped them onto the table. My god, is that an aquarium I see? Is that shape at the bottom? And below the crab, the thing shooting in the background, am I crazy? Or is that not the ship that Bunny Artoria uses in FGO? Ruler Artoria FGO Noble Phantasm. Am I insane? It might be meant to, because this would have been long before it. But okay, I just need to see the ship. I need to see the ship because it looks very similar to it. See, there's no images of it, and I don't want to play the videos because that'll just be annoying. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it is. Maybe if I type in her yacht. Ruler Artoria yacht? There's like no pictures of it. Dang, I was hoping that someone would have a nice, like, you know, picture for me to look at. Weird. Like, what is that meant to be? Because that's what the silhouette looks like, but I don't know. At first glance, they look like advance tickets to a movie, but not quite. They were tickets to a famous aquarium. God, I haven't been to the aquariums here yet. I love aquariums. I love aquariums! I love looking at fish! To get there, they would take the rapid train and subway to a city several times more modern than Misaki. Oh. A city that housed the biggest shopping mall in the prefecture, set to open next year, as well as a multi-purpose auditorium big enough to stage international conferences and famous plays. Well, hot dang. That sounds real cool.
それと、夜はメシアンでカレーでも食べてくれ。
Hey! I know that play. Wait, hold up. No, never mind. I'm right. Messiah is a chain. There's more. Saying that, he slapped 2 bills on the table as if he had struck it rich. It was Sojiro's turn to make dinner tonight, after all.
じゃあ、そういうことで。
Finished saying his piece, Sojiro returned his wallet to his coat pocket. It was then that Aoko realized what Sojiro meant by be seeing you.
ちょっと待った。そういうあんたはどうするのよ。
今日はアルバイト。
Oh, that's kind of sad, actually. To be like, I really want you two to make up, so let's go have fun. By the way, I can't come, go have fun. Oh, that's really sad. Sojiro was almost too quick with his response, helping Aoko to see things for what they really were. Rather than for Sojiro's benefit, his gesture was instead an attempt to ease the tension that had built up between Aoko and Alice. Though if asked, both girls will tell you it was an unnecessary gesture. However, for him to pay this much attention to the household, if anything, gave Aoko reason to reflect on her own immaturity, of which there's a lot to reflect on. You need ray tracing for that. Aoko glanced over to the still-seated Alice. At the same time, Alice peeked up at Aoko from behind her book. They kept still, staring at each other.
私は構わないけど、
Oh,
今やれることは全部やってあるし。
this is nice so far.
そうね。そういうことならせっかくだし。
They are literally purchased already. Alice stood up from the sofa, resigned to her decision. Sojiro watched on, a satisfied smile upon his face. 20 minutes later, as Aoko and Alice were done getting ready, Aoko called out to Sojiro in the drawing room.
それじゃあ出かけてくるから、あんたもバイト。そうじろ？
Sojiro was crouched in front of the television, unaware that the two had entered the room.
もしかしてビデオいじってるの？
ああ、ちょうどよかった。青崎、これ、
As he turned to face them, he froze. Cute. Cute outfits. Those are nice. Also, the contrast. Contrast is real nice. And facing them only exacerbated. I hate that word. Stop using that word. 2023, stop using that word. I can't read it. I always say exacerbated, which is not a good thing. Exacerbated the problem.
私たちお言葉に甘えて出かけてくるけど、どうしたのよ一体。棚の後ろに落とし物でもしたの？
He is staring right at her crotch right now. Directly. Sojiro appeared to have gone stiff. Penis. Aoko stared at him curiously. Though Alice silently nodded along with his bizarre reaction, she kept her thoughts to herself.
いや、なんかこ
Oh, cute! Still gawking, his voice stuck in his throat. He was blissfully unaware that the shock he was experiencing was the direct result of his emotional state. Henri.
それじゃわからないってば。
The way that the little neck of Aoko's hangs down, that is... You know who that's given vibes of? Big Arquid vibes. The granny sweater. Right? The granny sweater, and then the skirt. The skirt's, you know, more like modern Arquid, but the granny sweater is very, like, old school Arquid. Nice, nice.
まったく、落ち着いてるくせに妙に挙動不審なんだから。アリスに煙たがられても仕方ないっていうか。
Alice looked on in silence. He was not confused or in a daydream, that much he could tell, but this frozen look was by all accounts a first for Sojiro.
それで何かあったの？
う、ああ、いや、これなんだけど、青崎、ビデオってどう使うんだ？
Shaking his head to regain his composure, Sojiro pointed to the VCR. A VHS player sat on top of the shelf beneath the TV. Is anyone else, like, extremely sad there's going to be people that buy this and play this in 2023 and are like, what's that? And it's like, ooh, it hurts, ooh. VCRs, man.
何？タイマー録画でもするの？
Aoko walked over and crouched next to Sojiro in front of the TV.
いや、木の実からビデオを借りたんだけど、映らない。
Please be porn, please be porn, please be porn. I will laugh so hard. Please.
まずテレビの電源が入ってない。
I would really want them to be like, well, first we gotta change it to channel 3 or channel 4. With a click, the TV screen flickered alive.
次、チャンネルを外線に合わせて。
Oh, no, we're doing video input switch. Okay.
あら、意外にも真っ黒。木の実くんのことだからテープ頭から録画してると思っ
Oh
た
my
けど。
god, it's gonna be recorded porn, please. Please. During this time period, videotapes were still rather expensive. Therefore, it was only natural for people to not want to waste a single second of the tape's 120-minute capacity. Is that how long they only had? Huh, I always thought they were more.
割と趣味には気を使う性格なのね。
Oh, but you go into extended play,
早く
right?
リット。
Okay, please. Alco picked the small remote up and quickly pushed the button marked forward. The VCR beeped in protest. With several clicks and thuds, there was an empty whir from the machine.
壊してないぞ、多分。
The vast majority of people who say this are actually very prone to destroying electrical equipment, but this is a separate matter. Thank you, you're right.
おまけにテープが入ってない。
As soon as the words left her lips, it all made sense.
テープ
Sojiro imagined adhesive tape, clearly confused.
宗十郎、木の実くんから何か渡されなかった？
渡されたけど、ほら、テーブルの
Oh
上。
my god, buddy. Though she should have been used to it by now, she got herself wondering if Sojiro was being stupid deliberately.
木の実くんがなんて言ったか覚えてる？
テープ貸してやるから、家に帰ったらビデオを見ろ、と。
Oh my god. It's going to be porn.
一番大事な言葉が抜けてたわけね。はあ、失望を通り越して怖くなるわ。あっさり順応しているように見えてこれだものね。
Stop using that word. Exasperated. Well, exasperated and exacerbated are different words, and that's part of the problem. It's part of the problem. Exasperated. I'll go fetch the tape in question. It was labeled Wild Animal Kingdom African Adventure. Now, listen. There is still an absolute non-zero chance it's porn. To Aoko, this knocked Hosuke Kinomi down a level on the ratings ratings file she kept with the student council.
で、このテープをデッキに入れて再生すればいいの。爪は折ってないから、録画ボタンだけは押さないようにね。
I don't even know what she's talking about with the tab isn't broken. Can you like do a thing to make it so you can't record on a tape anymore? If so, that's new information.
爪とは
ここ、テープの側面にへこみがあるでしょ。これ
Okay.
をカバーしているのが爪。これを切り取っておくと、もうそのテープは上書きができなくなるのよ。
This is legitimately new information to me, who recorded about 20 to 30 blocks of like Fox Kids and late night anime on VHS tapes as a kid.
そうね。例えるなら授業のノート。大事なものだから消しゴムで消えないようにフィキサチーフをかけたっていうか、ヒューマンエラーを物理的に防止するアナログな防御法ってわけ。
She inserted the tape into the VCR and handed the remote to Sojiro. Just this small interaction used up a fair bit of Aoko's patience. Completely ignorant of Aoko's feelings, Sojiro gleefully pressed the play button.
前から危なっかしいと思ってたけど、
Come on.
まさかここまでとはね。時代錯誤にも程がある。あんた、山で何やってたの？空手家じゃあるまいし、熊を倒す修行でもしてたとか言わないでしょうね。
That would be pretty sick. Whether or not she knew this was rude, Sojiro glanced at her with disdain.
それは、もしかして俺をバカにしてるのか？
心外ね。事実バカにしてるんだけど。
Dang. Aoko answered unapologetically. On the TV, a crocodile's yawning mouth appeared. Aw. Now, all I'm saying is it's still a non-zero chance that it's porn, okay?
そんなバカな話があるもんか。なんで熊を倒すために修行しなくちゃ
All
い
right,
けないんだ
bears were like gods to him. Right. Sojiro turned toward the TV in a huff. Perhaps because of this rare outburst, as he turned face to face with the gaping maw of the crocodile on TV, he fell backwards in surprise. Aoko pursed her lips upon seeing this, delighted. She loved seeing him panicking. It was relieving to see the boy disarmed. Literally, that's what I just said. Oh my god.
けど青崎、この機械ずいぶん埃が積もっているけど、掃除はしていないのか？
私はあんまり使わないし、アリスは見ないから今までほっぽってただけよ。ダメ元でトレーニング用に買ってもらったんだけど、飽きちゃった。イメージでどうにかできる問題じゃなかったっていうか。
Oh my god. Aoko shrugged at her past superficiality. And Sojiro was led to believe yet another falsehood about modern life, that VCRs would go out of fashion. Falsehood, right.
それじゃあ留守番お願いね。
You say that, but that's a legitimate concern.
バイト本当はないんでしょ。
Aoko said, smiling as she walked out of the drawing room.
お
Her grin was the cheap shot that left Sojiro speechless. As he scratched his cheek, he was reminded of how she was not someone to be trifled with. After watching the end of the drama between the other two, Alice made for the reception area as well. Left alone in the room, Sojiro took his seat on the sofa. Now to watch 7 hours of animal videos. He's so excited. That says a lot about him. The fact he's like gonna grab popcorn and be like, oh boy, it's time for animals. Well, it was certainly not easy making everything run smoothly around these parts. Until they came back, he could enjoy his crocodile watching in peace. I want to go to crocodile country. God. My little man, just watching his animal videos. It's like an iPad kid, long before those existed. They took the subway from Misaki for 6 stations. From there, they rode another 3 stops by express train. After about an hour, Aoko and Alice arrived at Arasaka Station. While Misaki City was a mixture of old and new architecture, Arasaka was a brand new town built in accordance with recent government ordinance. It was as though an entire town full of tall buildings sprouted up in the middle of nowhere. Oh, yo! Jams! Wait, let me hear this. Ooh! I love the little synth. Yeah, hit me up, let's go. Ooh! You can't see me, but I'm rocking right now. Yeah. That's the sound of the city, you know? Ooh. Isn't this Mega Man Battle Network beat, you know? Nice. It was near the end of December, in the middle of winter break. Even the bustling plaza in Misaki was quiet compared to Arasaka in the evening. Whether its huge mall full of countless specialty stores or its crowded multi-purpose auditorium, there was really something for everyone here. For that reason, beyond its local residents, Arasaka Station was crowded with people from far and wide. Yo, her hat! What a cute little hat!
県内最大のコンサートホールらしいけど、中はどうなってんだろう。なんか周りのビルより背が高くない？
They made their way to the aquarium, weaving through the crowds. Aoko might have been used to city life, but Alice was silently anxious. The people passing by must have thought this pale girl out of place, which Alice happened to agree with.
来年夏にはビッグアーティストも来日予定。って、ピンクトゥルーデが入ってない？ちょっと、これ日本初ライブよ、アリス。
Pink Is that meant to be Pink Floyd? It's gotta be Pink Floyd. Aoko exclaimed, overcome by excitement. This kind of pop rock band was, I don't know if I would call Pink Floyd pop rock at all, was right up Aoko's alley, but naturally, Alice did not seem very interested. I'm just gonna type in the words Pink Trudy and see if anything comes up for a real band. Pink Trudy. Is there any... Nope. Nothing. Nothing. There we go.
それよりセレモニーに予定されてるポーランド楽団の方が驚きだと思うけど、随分とお金がかかっているようね。ほんと懲りない人。
Way to be judgy. Aoko cursed under her breath before hurrying them along. Underneath the construction map read, with the support from the Kuonji group. Oh, well, of course. The aquarium they were looking for was on the top floor of a massive building. Wait! Are they going to Sunshine City? Or at least an equivalent of it? Because I went to the aquarium at Sunshine City. It is great. It's wonderful. That is a absolute, like, piano of aquarium. Maybe it was because it was no longer a new attraction, or perhaps it was because the first floor cinema drew the crowds. But with only a few people scattered around the entrance, the atmosphere inside was very calm. Not quiet, but desolate, and far removed from the hustle and bustle outside. Perhaps they were going for that museum-like vibe. Alice quietly caught her breath, staring in awe, like a child seeing the circus for the first time. Her eyes were wide in anticipation and wonder.
気に入ったみたいね。よかったよかった。宗十郎おすすめの物件は気難しいアリスさんのお眼鏡にかないましたか。
Mm-hmm. You know, out of all the advice Konomi gave when Sojiro called him up, and Sojiro's like, what do I do? And Konomi was just like, yo, bitches love fish. And Sojiro just like, yeah, bitches love fish. Yeah. Aka found herself smiling as well. You know, loves fish. There was a certain joy in seeing Alice's wonderment.
別に屋上にある水族館が珍しいだけ。
Oh, is that just a widely known thing in Japan? Is there just a lot of them? I thought it was just a Sunshine City thing. According to the guide on the wall, the entrance to the aquarium was nearly as big as the Kuonji mansion's foyer. The outdoor penguin show was apparently suspended due to the star penguin Flippy undergoing treatment for an injury. I'm going to read that again, because I just needed to sink in for what I just said in this video game. The outdoor penguin show was apparently suspended due to the star penguin Flippy undergoing treatment for an injury. An unfortunate state of affairs, but one that did not stop Alice from continuing to read over the guide. Apparently she was quite familiar with penguin shows. Is that why I have that piece of art? Because I got that one piece of art, which may or may not be in the thumbnail. I don't know. But I have it, and I have no idea why. Then? Eh? Said like someone who could not believe what they saw. Alice quietly whimpered, as if holding back a scream.
何どうしたの？
Aoko said, still looking at the floor plan. It was rare to see Alice getting this emotional outside the mansion. For some reason, she was trembling. Nothing seemed terribly off about the aquarium's offerings.
ゾウガメがいない。
Okay.
話が違うわ、青子。どうしてゾウガメの展示スペースがないの？
Because those are land creatures?
どうしてって、そりゃゾウガメみたいになったらもうほとんど陸上生物だからじゃない？
I did get to see, when I went to the Ueno Zoo in Tokyo, the giant tortoise there. Those things are massive. And dinosaurs.
なんで？ペンギンはいるのに不公平よ。イルカだって許せないわ。
Why are you so into tortoises? It was a bitter pill for Alice to swallow. The idea that they did not have a giant tortoise, despite having a dolphin, had Alice's eyes hot with indignation.
ああ、言われてみれば確かにペンギンとイルカは定番なのになぜゾウガメだけ外されるのか。ちょっとした日常の落とし穴ね。
Aoko said something like a giant tortoise would be boring and unpopular. She was sensible enough to read the room, however, and kept her thought to herself.
アリス、こっち。チケットはあるから、そっちに並ぶことはないわよ。
A few moments after the giant tortoise fiasco, presenting the tickets they received from Sojiro, they headed toward the once popular entrance. From the entrance gate, the corridor stretched into a dark hallway completely illuminated in blue. Figures and faces became mere silhouettes in the darkness. Not a darkness born from magecraft, but a man-made area of twilight. A world of shadow and blue, the only light being from the illuminated tanks. God, this looks very magecrafty, you know? The two witches continued walking down the artificial ocean corridor. Water tanks like windows into hundreds of different worlds, each with their own separate temperature and environment. A snapshot of the same place at different times. Mesmerized by the refracting images of the ocean floor, conversation grew sparse.
そういえばアリスの家ってあれだけ大きいのにプールとかないわよね。なんで？
呆れた。水槽を見て何を想像したのかは聞かないけど、必要ないものを欲しがるのはあなたの悪い癖ね、青子。
I mean, a pool has a lot of benefits, though. Not only easy exercise, but I could absolutely see it being used in, magecraft stuff.
必要ないってことはないんじゃない？水遊びはこっちよりそっちの方が馴染み深いでしょうに。
Are they? I don't know.
もしかしてアリス泳げない？
Alice strikes me as someone who can't swim.
泳ぎの経験ぐらいあるわ。
Never
夏の
mind.
湖で何度も遊んだもの。
Super never mind.
私、大型のセントバーナードにだって負けなかったのよ。
セントバーナードってアリスさんたらもしかして息継ぎとか苦手かしら？
この世で最も聞きたくない言葉の一つね。
There's something about just this. It's amazing how there's not much in this actual scene, but it's beautiful, Just, it is glowing squares with exit signs, right? And yet it comes across as like a real place.
クロールとかバタフライとか。発明した人は半魚人になればいいのに。
Okay, but no, I agree. You don't need these crazy swimming techniques. Just freaking swim, bro. Just pick one. Just swim. Clack, clack, clack. Their pace was more delicate and solemn than a stroll along the beach. Their conversation continued, but was only particular for being in particular. What the frick do you mean by that? Was only particular for being in particular. I don't even know what that's trying to say. In here, the only thing to do was to look at blue screens.
でも驚いた。あんなにあっさり館の留守を任せるなんて。あいつがこっそり西館に入るかもとか考えなかった？
彼、そこまで考えなしじゃないでしょ。
No. If you asked him, he wouldn't.
それならそれで手間が
Oh,
省けて
'cause he'd
せいせい
die.
した？
そうじゃなくて、一度交わした約束は破らないんじゃないか。
It's wild how I feel like Alice gets Sojiro so much more than Aoko. That he was not. Aoko nodded, her long hair waving back and forth, a certain gleam of surprise in her eyes. Onward they meandered to the next aquatic world. Clack, clack, clack.
ところで水族館は初めて？
これで2度目。昔、友達と2人で行ったきりよ。
You have those?
嘘、本当？
That's what she's gonna be. She's gonna be. You have a friend. It's literally what it's gonna be.
6年以上も前。
Oh.
まだイギリスにいた頃。
そうじゃなくて友達の方。あんた友人はいないって言ったじゃない。
Boom. Roasted.
昔の話よ。私たち同じ名前だったの。
Interesting. Interesting. For some reason, my brain is automatically like, hold up. We already have 2 characters in the Nasuverse named Alice. Getting a third is a bit absurd. So my brain is immediately like, okay, there has to be a way that this is like the non-extra universe version of Alice, but it can't be. That's way too big a difference in time.
それが縁でよく遊んでいたけれど、長続きはしなかったわ。
そっか、あっちじゃそう珍しくない名前なのね、アリスって。こっちで言うところの涼子とか花子みたいなもの？
Alright. I'm real curious. Just because it's on my mind. Right now, most common European baby names 2022. What are the most common European baby names? Most popular baby names for the UK. What do we got? Let's see here. Noah, Oliver, George, Arthur, Mohammed, Leo, Harry, Oscar, Archie, Henry. For the boys. And for the girls, it's Olivia, Amelia, Isla, Ava, Ivy, Freya, Lily, Florence, Mia, and Willow. Is Alice even on here? Alice is number 31. Okay. Most popular baby names, Japan. Why, what do we got? The top names for Japan are apparently for girls, Himari, Hinata, and Hina. Number 2 is Rin. Look at that. Number 3 is Uta. I seriously wonder if One Piece brought that. I really do. Number 4, Hina and Haruna. 4 is Yuina, Yuna, and Yuna. And then we got An and Anzu, Mio and Rei. Interesting. Sakura is number 9. So both Sakura and Rin are in the top. That's really funny. For boys, top is Aoi. That's interesting. But that's the kanji for blue. So like Aoko, because Ao is also is number 1. Interesting. 2 is Nagi and Nagisa. 3 is Ren. 4 is Haruto and Hinato. Minato, Soma and Fuma. Again, Aoi. Oh no, so wait. But then the other Aoi or Aoi is also there in the top. Itsuki, Yamato. Interesting. Okay. Just interesting. I was just curious. My brain just went like, huh. Just curious.
ええ。青子とか赤子とか、
Mm-hmm.
黒子とか白子みたいなものよ。
So Aoko is like blue ko, Akako is red ko, Kuroko is black ko, and Shiroko is white ko. Interesting.
後半はみんな普通名詞なんですけど。
Yep, because well, doesn't ko mean little? Because Aoko would be like little blue, little red, little. Oh, okay. Not gonna say the other two. Those would not be good for me to say. I was close. It's a damn good thing I hit that before it stopped. Stopped that before it hit, rather. Jeez. To each their own, a society of names. The swirling of the waters was dizzying. Much like the hectic world of humans, their hands swung back and forth as they walked toward the next world.
そういう青子は彼をどうするつもりなの？
どうって今の一件を終わらせるまでおとなしくしてもらって落ち着いたら忘却のルーン探してなかったことにするだけでしょ。これ以上迷惑かけられないわよ。
それは私に？
え？あ、うん、そうに決まってるじゃない。ところでこの魚綺麗よね。なんか泳ぎたくなってくる。アリス、来年の夏は海にでも行ってみよっか。
Very weird spacing on the periods there. Huh.
海ってあの海？
もちろん。夏の海って言ったら灼熱の太陽と砂浜、水平線に沈む夕日ってね。
I'm sorry, I cannot think of two more diametrically opposed things than the beach and Alice.
今年は行けなかったけど来年は一緒に行かない？
呆れた。本当、あなたって楽観的。でも、
Oh,
そうね。
maybe not.
夏まで生きていられたのなら。
Clack, clack, clack. The two girls journeyed to the next oceanic wonderland, mutually taking in the sights. The visitors to these wintry waters had begun to leave, satisfied by their touring. The sound of their footsteps heralded their farewell. An hour into the wayfaring sea voyage, losing themselves in the maze-like corridors of seemingly endless exhibits, they somehow found themselves on the next floor. Aqua had heard that the aquarium was situated on the top floor and was shocked to find out there was yet another above it. Oh my god, the lighting here! Wow! Like, it's a simple effect, obviously, that they just play with the lighting, but the glow of the blue with the dark shadows, that looks so good. It was likely by design that the actual top floor could only be accessed from within the aquarium. Moments of intrigue such as this are what attractions are made of.
アリス？
Turning this way and that, she found Alice had disappeared. She had just been there, however, and Aoko took to looking for her. She soon found her nearby. Her white overcoat shone brightly in front of the dimly lit exhibit. She was staring motionlessly into the water tank. Are we getting a Cameron moment? Or, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? You know, the Cameron moment? Looking at the painting? Are we getting that? She almost looked to be staring through it, distracted by something.
どうしたのアリス？気分でも悪くなった？
She spoke, hoping to snap her out of it. Alice's typically cold aura seemed to have all but left her.
珍しい魚でもいた？それ、余り物を端に追いやりましたって感じの水槽だけど。
No, not the orphan fish. Alice gave a non-committal response. Just ahead of her gaze was a single shadow.
わお、マンボウ。
Oh my god. One more time.
わお、マンボウ。
Wow, Mumbo. I love ocean sunfish. They're so stupid. Alice, sorry. Is Alice having a Cameron moment with an ocean sunfish? Is she too made of so much cartilage that no amount of damage can ever hurt her? Does she too literally live in constant pain and agony, unable to move its body in a proper way? Ocean sunfish will get eaten by a shark and simply move on with their life. Alice remained motionless, unresponsive to Aoko's sarcasm. She stood in silence, watching the poor little fish drifting listlessly in the tank where they put the fish that did not fit anywhere else here at the end of the hall. Oh my god. To put it lightly, yeah, sunfish were not especially pleasant to look at. They are puffy and horrible. When looking at one, it begged the question of which direction evolution wanted to take with it. It's very true. It looked like it swam using rudder-like fins on its top and bottom, but it lacked the grace of other fish. It can book it, but it kind of has to flex its whole body to do so. To Aoko, its eyes, body, and strange movements made it an awkward creature. But
ねえアリス、あっちの水槽見ない？
yo, whale
ジンベエザ
sharks!
メの回遊とか見目麗しいわよ。
Yeah, whale sharks. Alice, unmoved, fixated on the sunfish. It clumsily drifted around its tank, occasionally bumping into the glass as it turned.
青子、この子、泳ぐのが下手だわ。
Oh my god, she's having a Cameron moment with the sunfish. Alice extended her finger toward the glass, then retracted it, feeling childish.
ま、いっか。愛嬌だけはあるしね、マンボ。
It did not seem like Alice was going to budge. Resigning herself, Aoko stayed with Alice while she stared at the cushion-shaped fish. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, huh?
へえ、マンボウってフグ目だったんだ。なになに？マンボウのメスは一度に3億個の卵を海中に放出する地上で最も多くの卵を産む脊椎動物である。なるほどね。
Wow. Aoko was really intrigued by that extreme ovulation.
他の魚たちにとっちゃ格好の餌になるから多く産むこと。それ自体が生存のための手段になるわけか。
Though Aoko seemed to be taken in by the biological details of the fish, Alice couldn't have cared less. She was lost in the ebb and flow of emotions between wonder and woe, with every clumsy bump of the fish into the glass. When out of nowhere she softly spoke. I swear to God if she says, Aoko, that sunfish is me.
さっきの話だけど。
Oh no, we're actually having serious time, okay.
さっきの話って何？
彼について留守を任せるとか。
Oh, hold up, wait. No, wait. Is Sojiro the ocean sunfish? It seemed like Alice had returned to her normal self. That cold aura. Wherever, inside the mansion or out, that stubborn chill that pushed people away was back.
私の気が変わったわけじゃないわ。依然として彼のことはわからないもの。わからない人をどうやって信頼すればいいの？
まあね。でも、じゃあどうして？
青子のことはわかるわ。あなたはいつも正しい選択をする。だから。
It was true. She did not know Sojiro, nor had any intention to. But because of her trust in Aoko, she could trust in Aoko's decision to allow him to stay. It seemed Alice was challenging her own feelings. She said she could not trust someone she did not know. Or in other words, she wished to trust a person, and in order to do so, she needed to know more about them.
口にするのはなんだから突っ込まないけどね。それより何？そんなに私のこと信頼してくれてたの？
ええ。行為はともかく、信頼だけはしているわ。
That's good.
だって共犯者でしょ。私たち。
What a curious little relationship they have. Her white coat swayed to and fro. Just like that, their short excursion had come to an end. Straight ahead was the exit back to the real world. A step away from the exhibit was a step toward becoming better roommates.
優しい顔をしているのに、傷だらけね。
Nope. Sojiro is the ocean sunfish, huh? One last small whisper. And with that, she bid farewell to the lonely figure in the tank. Yeah, 100%. She had a Cameron moment, but with someone else. I really hope you guys have watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm not even saying that to understand my reference. I'm just saying in general. I feel like that's a formative movie for every human being. Go watch it. It's probably on Netflix or something. Maybe Disney Plus. I don't know. Go see it, please. If not, it's a work of art. It's also fun. Really, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the, Mahoyo of movies. The sun sets early during winter. That is very true. Falling below the horizon by 4 in the afternoon. Yep. Everything seemed to arrive at the mansion earlier than in the city.
なるほど。君の生態はよくわかった。
You are so simple. Sojiro sat alone, sipping his warm tea in the chilly room. Okay, but let's be honest here. I would kill to be able to just be like, I have 3 hours of crocodile documentaries on VHS. Let's have some tea, grab a blanket, and watch it. I would love that. He relaxed on the couch, staring out the window, having had his fill of crocodiles. Once he sprawled out on his sofa, his body refused to move. Maybe he'd always wanted to try it. After 3 straight hours of I was joking about the 3 hours. That was meant to be a hyperbole. After 3 straight hours of crocodile watching, he wondered what it would be like to laze there for the remainder of the day as he nervously checked over his shoulder. Just as he was considering taking the opportunity to nap until Aoko and Alice returned, an unfamiliar sound echoed throughout the halls of the mansion. This is not them. This is going to be someone else. Undergoing a sluggish evolution of his very own, he rose from all fours to being bipedal. That is a strange way to say he got up. There was a knocking sound at regular intervals. The sound distinctively coming from the front door was more familiar now. He had experienced it during his days in the apartment.
新聞の勧誘か?
As he made his way for the foyer, Sojiro noted how impressed he was that they had hiked all the way up the hill. Who is this going to be? I have an idea of who this could be, and if so... Uh-oh! The sound resounded eerily. Without a doorbell of any kind, visitors had no choice but to rap on the door using whatever they had in hand. You know, they had to go up to the door and be like, yo, yo, yo. What it is, my fellow people. It's a rap joke. It would take an iron-clenched fist to produce that kind of sound. From his position in the hall, the front door looked like an ornately built fortification. I nearly said fornication. The strong double doors looked as though they could withstand any onslaught of blows. They rattled in protest to the repeated knocking. Try as this person might, it seemed no amount of enemy attack could breach the castle gate. But Sojiro, having experience selling newspapers himself, announced himself.
Hi, 今開けます。
He knew what it was to be like in their shoes, so he was unsurprised by their unwillingness to surrender. Is this who I think it's going to be? Oh my god, it is! Oh no!
Oh.
There stood the second surprise today. Sojiro stood speechless and motionless. The young woman hardly looked the part of a newspaper salesman, and if so, dang, they gonna get a lot of newspaper sales. Standing in the courtyard against the backdrop of the dusk horizon, she looked more suited to being a resident of this Western-style mansion, at least more so than Sojiro. God, that outfit is so good. She had a dainty frame. I don't know if I'd call her dainty. I don't know if I could call anyone so thick dainty, but a striking presence nonetheless. She was a little shorter than Sojiro, but tall for a woman. Wait, what? I thought she was decently tall. Hold up. Sojiro Suzuki's height? Not size. That would give me worse things. How tall is my man? He's 172 centimeters. That doesn't explain to me how big he is. My man is... Sorry. Centimeters, not meters. Oh, my man's 5'6". So wait. Toko Aozaki height. Wait, hold up. What? Oh, 165. She's 5'4". Why is everyone so short in Japan? Jeez. Her light green clothing was delicate yet flashy, and clearly showing something out of foreign fashion. Bold but prim and proper. Though slightly loud, her appearance spoke of strength and confidence. The kind of woman not to be trifled with that Sojiro knew all too well. Only, unlike the ones he knew, this one appeared more friendly than intimidating. Perhaps it was her short hair that made her look so approachable. I don't know about you, that would make her not approachable to me. That would make me a nervous wreck. Bright and brown, it stopped just above the nape of her neck. Oh, Japan, you and napes. Which actually, I learned. I was listening to someone about how the nape of the neck is like an erotic thing because of how kimonos cover up. Like no Japanese clothing would show the nape of the neck for women pretty much. And so when you saw it, it was like, oh dang, look at the nape on that chick. It means that she's going to be naked pretty much. Sojiro, yet to say a word, thought what a shame it was to be so short. Why are you so short? Really? She looked at him and offered a smile. I can't get over that she's short. I always took her as Big Dommy Mommy. Despite looking older than Sojiro, this made her appear impish and cute. These are not words I would use to describe her myself. Sojiro knew himself to be made of stronger stuff than to fall for cute smiles, and found it more than a little suspicious. At any rate, it was rude to stare for so long.
どちら様でしょうか?
He asked shyly, steeling himself. To which she replied,
こんばんは。青子います?
That's the same voice from Garden of Sinners, yep. She smiled as she used Aoko's first name with a sense of familiarity. Oh boy. Oh boy.
青崎はいないんです。
Oh boy. Oh no. Don't pose like that. I can't handle it. She smiled again, this time deviously upon learning of Aoko's absence.
それじゃあ、クオンジさんも留守なんだ。
Sojiro looked perplexed. This was the first time he had heard Alice referred to by her last name only, and again, spoken with customary respect.
そっか。夜ならともかく、日中から二人で出かけるとは感心感心。形だけの雑居だろうと思ったけど、ちゃんとうまくいってるのね。
Sojiro found himself nodding in response to her smile. Though it was clear she knew Aoko and Alice, she was only giving him an uncomfortable feeling. Likely in her mid-20s, she did not appear that much older than he was. Okay. For some reason I thought there was a bigger age gap. But then again, they're mages and puppets, so who the frick cares? Behind her carefree tone and bright smile, she was clearly trying to hide something.
それじゃあ帰ってくるにしても夜？
はい。終電前には帰ってくると思いますけど。
Well, they have to be. There's no Ubers back
そ
then.
う。ところで君誰？
Sojiro, ever so troubled by her forwardness, wanted to ask her the same. Alas, who are you was a question far too difficult for Sojiro.
すみません。誰かと言われてもよくわからなくて。
Just point at the dog collar, bro. She'll get it.
とりあえず、今は留守番してますけど、実は青崎の友人なんです。
Funnily enough, that's the bigger lie here. A response with not an ounce of truth to it. The young woman's face lit up at what she believed was the boy's attempt to tease her.
へえ、面白いこと言うのね、君。名前はなんて言うの？
静木宗十郎というのですが。
His shy answer made her giggle. Sojiro could not understand what he had said that was so funny, but her laugh did not offend him. Rather than seeming derogatory, it came across as warm and affable. Then, after finishing giggling, she looked at him straight in the eye and gave him a soft look.
いや、気に入ったわ。
Ooh.
宗十郎くんだっけ？
Oh,
君には合わない名前だけど、それも暗示的で素敵だし。じゃあ、そういうわけで、お茶でも入れてくれない？
she is very forward.
あ、いや。
She stepped past him in the mansion and swiftly left him at the door.
うわ、呆れた。ほんと以前のまんまじゃない。せっかくこっちに持ってきたんだから、悪いところはリフォームしたものと思ったけど、何も柱の歪みまで再現しなくてもいいのにね。
She said, cheerfully inspecting the foyer. Sojiro still stood at the entrance. The clicking of her heels on the wooden floor jumped around as she moved towards the drawing room.
どうしたの？
Oh, your
こ
leg.
っちでしょ？今は。
She disappeared from the foyer into the drawing room, oddly familiar with the layout of the house.
青崎かアリス。どっちかの先輩かな。
Sojiro muttered to himself, walking to the drawing room. He entered to see the woman walking around the room gleefully. Like a child seeing a park the first time in ages, breathing in the nostalgia, twirling as girls are wont to do. Is that how you say want to do? Okay, interesting.
このテレビって。
She stared at the television inquisitively, perhaps owing to the fact that she had never seen a 30-inch TV before. This is really funny, because in Garden of Sinners, she has 30 TVs? Awkwardly, the TV was still displaying images of the wild animal kingdom. Sorry, you caught me watching my crocodile videos. Sojiro wished he could have stopped the video before he answered the door.
もし。
He blurted out, attempting to regain his composure. He had many questions, but first he resolved himself to, at the very least, ask her name. With that, she turned to him with a cold look on her face. She glared at Sojiro over her glasses, her long and slender brows pointing at him, all as if to hint at a threat. Oh, a gaze that made him feel like he had chosen his words very poorly. Sojiro apologetically clammed up. The old woman moved in.
やだな、宗十郎くん。もしなんてかしこまって。
How are you? Every frame of her is making me feel things.
私そんなおばさんに見える？
Yes, and that's a positive. She snickered. Her disapproving glare melted into a teasing smile. Of course not. It would be more accurate to say that she had an air of an older sister. Or at least, that is how Sojiro attempted to reply using only gestures, to which she grinned, smugly.
よろしい。なら、そんな他人行儀な話し方はやめましょう。つまらないし、柄じゃないわ。
So I've seen this CG. I knew that this CG was a thing. Because... Yeah. She said, taking a seat on the sofa. Just Just. Do you hear that? That's me drinking it in. Bam. Look, I'm just saying. The short hair really ties it all together. Naturally and effortlessly, and without making a sound. Her posture and movements exuded sophistication, and she required no words to instruct him to hurry along and make the tea. Without pressing her further, Sojiro headed to the kitchen. He's gonna male wife so hard. He figured she would not talk until she had some tea. He chose the fauchon he was forced to replace once before, after using it without permission. Since she was here to see Aoko, he would serve her the tea in Aoko's Cervesse teacup. Into the cup as blue as the ocean depths. Ooh, we'll see if she gets pissed at that. He carefully poured the tea before returning to the drawing room. Gently, he placed the teacup on the table and looked at the woman.
尋ねるのが遅れましたけど、青崎の知り合いかな?
Despite being told otherwise, Sojiro could not help but stand on ceremony. He would actively have to try to not. Displeased or disappointed, she glared at him once again.
その青崎っていうのをやめてくれない？なんだかくすぐったくて。青子でいいでしょ？呼び方は。
Oh, not seen that one. She seemed not at all upset as she slowly raised the cup to her lips to take a sip. It was the kind of moment Aoko and Alice might react to by berating the boy, but the woman chose to brush it off with a smile. Though he did not realize it in that moment, he would soon enough understand that some people did appreciate his efforts, regardless of whether they were misguided. Oh.
立ってないで座って。見下ろされるのは好きじゃないんだ、私。
Sojiro tilted his head, noticing a slight familiarity to the manner of speaking, the manner of her speaking, almost as if she'd been talking to someone. Almost as if he had been talking to Oh, it's because there's a so in there, which is killing me. It's a typo. Almost as if he had been talking to someone he has seen before. Looking at her sitting on the sofa, forgotten memories began to rise to the surface. He's like, I'd recognize the way those titties pressed together anywhere. Noticing his reaction, she became visibly delighted.
思い出した？私もちょっと驚いたわ。
Oh, no, right, they did meet before.
青子を訪ねに来たらいつか見た君が出迎えてくるんだから。
Now that she was laughing, Sojiro remembered everything. He'd only seen her for an instant, but there was no mistake it was her. It had been her, the woman smoking the long cigarette winning at the pachinko parlor.
あの時は私もショックだったな。宗十郎くん、目が合うなりいきなり逃げ出したでしょ？
Don't worry, but I would too.
そんなに私ってこわもてなのかしらって、あの日の晩は真剣に悩んだんだから。
She clearly enjoyed the memory. She was right. He mistook the shadow he had seen in the park for this woman and ran, though he had learned it was Aoko a day later. Even though it was clearly a case of mistaken identity, he now knew why he had thought them one and the same.
そうか。雰囲気が似てるんだ。
Finally, he had realized the true identity of the woman before him. He chided himself for not realizing it sooner.
それじゃあ、あなたは。
Just as he was about to say it, she held up her hand to interrupt him. She pointed at him, like she was aiming a gun. Uh-oh!
ごめんなさい。君の仕草がちょっと可愛くて、からかいが過ぎちゃった。
You're not gonna gander him, are you?
自己紹介が遅れたけど、私は青崎東子。
Yeah.
率直に言うと、青子の実の姉ってわけね。
That figures. Well, he should have known. With a smile that could impart courage to any that glanced upon it, Toko looked just like how Sojiro imagined Aoko would in the not-too-distant future. Ironically, Aoko in the not-too-distant future? White shirt, jeans, and frickin' air combos. Not this at all. It all made sense. While Aoko was earnest and diligent, Toko was shrewd and playful.
あの子が困ってるって聞いてね。いい加減忠告してあげる気で、はるばるやってきたわけなのでした。
I Aoko's sister chuckled coyly while sipping her tea. So she's the enemy mage, right? I just... Not to maybe jump ahead in the plot, but she's absolutely the enemy mage. Because we know what she fights with. Oh, you mean there's been crazy puppets everywhere? Gee, I sure wonder who it is. But I don't think the mystery of the mage was ever a focus. Lured by her charm, Sojiro sat on the sofa as well. He felt like he could relax a little now that the initial shock of receiving an unexpected guest had subsided. I am just waiting for them to come home and this to explode. Just like that, it was almost 5 in the afternoon. Aoko and Alice will be returning from their excursion soon. Oh no. Oh no. They had such a good outing and this is bad. Hello? Oh, that's a transition. This was Misaki City's only subway line. Only half a year had passed since its opening. At the end of the fairly new platform, there the two girls stood. The time was 6:30 in the evening. They had been idling for around 20 minutes since returning from Arasaka and had yet to return to street level.
Aoko.
There was a hint of irritation in Alice's voice.
ちょっと待って。あともう一回だけ。ね。
I swear if she's doing a gachapon. Aoko begged Alice, hands together, trembling from the cold. It was rare to see her act this childish. There was no doubt Tobimaro would consider this behavior more strange than cute if he were here. From the end of the platform, Aoko peered into the creeping darkness to where the tracks led.
あなたの趣味変わってるわ。
Alice muttered, sitting on the bench with forbearance. Any other day, and she would have been heading back by herself, but today she was in a good mood and decided to humor Aoko. My, how things will change. If possible, she would have liked to return still in good spirits, as such spells of positivity, for her at least, tend to dissipate sooner rather than later. Eyes calmly closed, her placid demeanor conveyed her feelings well enough. Thus, the two of them waited on the platform alone for a subway train they had no intention of riding. The recently opened subway. High prices and low familiarity made for relatively few passengers coming from Misaki City. Thanks to the low foot traffic, the platform was still as good as new. There was something primeval about a subway devoid of people. The word we use now for that is liminal. It was a picture of tranquility, free of human interference. It's true, actually. If you've never been in a subway-like system place alone, it is magical. Lifeless and silent. And honestly, so, I mean, I think I've talked about this to my friends before, but there's such a difference, I feel, in how people react to, liminal spaces. I really recommend Super Eye Patch Wolf's video on liminal spaces. It is tremendous. Even if you don't agree with that guy's views on Shonen Jump and stuff, that video alone is really good for breaking down how for some people, there is peace and quiet and tranquility and just comfort in liminal spaces. And for others, they imagine a monster chasing them, and that's when you get the back rooms, which I can't stand. I am definitely more for the side of, I love large, empty, man-made structures. I have dreams about them all the time. It's so lovely. A land unmolested by living creatures, where only speechless organisms dwelt. The artificial fluorescent lighting highlighted its soullessness. It was a cave where the light ended and the shadows began. Riderless vessels disappearing into the dark, the platform wedged between two tracks like a jetty stretching into a subterranean sea of black. In this place far removed from the world above, Aoko waited with eyes closed for the familiar rumble. It was Aoko who proposed that they delay their return and wait on the platform. The reason was simple. Aoko Ozaki enjoyed the soothing sound of passing subway trains. Oh.
今年はもうライブハウスに行けそうもないし、これぐらいのわがままはいいでしょ?
She said to Alice, her eyes still closed. Alice did not even nod as 3 trains had already passed following her decision to stay with Aoko. This might be their worst decision ever. Silence again. Aoko waited for the next train with anticipation. Alice sat and stared at the wall of the subway patiently. According to the display board, the next train was due to arrive in 5 minutes. I just cannot believe how efficient Japan is for this stuff. It's like 45 to 50 minutes per train back home. From the dark tunnel, I am spoonerisming so much right now. From the dark tunnel came wind and rumbling. Uh-oh. A purposely placed bounded field now surrounded the platform. Uh-oh. There was no sign of any station personnel, and entrances and exits were few and narrow. With the lack of bystanders, the field was hardly necessary. Suddenly, 6 figures appeared in front of the stairs leading to the surface, all sharing the same face. Motionless, and with smiles like the crescent moon, they stared at Aoko and Alice.
鈍っているにも程があるわね。
Alice let out a quiet sigh.
どうかしたアリス？
どうも何も。この駅で降りたのはあなたと私だけなの。
そりゃあね。相変わらずここの地下鉄ってば利用客が少ないって。
Aoko cut herself off by tutting in annoyance.
で、そういうアリスはいつ気がついたの？
憂鬱なことにたった今よ。青子ばかり責められないわね。あなたと私が一つならこんなこともなかったのに。
つまらない例え話は口にしない。
Never moving or making eye contact, their words stoic and calm. In contrast, the figures near the stairs began to stir. They advanced in unison on all fours, as though regressing to a quadrupedal state, like crocodiles. Or human-sized ants. 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 Ant-Man. One after another, they swarmed forth. The din of clattering came not just from the platform entrances, but from the subway tunnels as well. Oh, gross. Oh, don't like that. Ooh, don't like that. They look like baby dolls. At glance, they numbered at least 30 strong. The creepy sound of skittering echoed off the subway walls. Don't use the word skittering. Please. All I can think of is my Sonic tweet.
信じられない。これだけの自動人形集めたらうちどころかフランスの一等地も買えるんじゃない？
ええ。もっともこんな出来じゃ買い手は見つからないでしょうけど。
なんだ、ガラクタはガラクタか。
One of the horde leapt forward in response to Aoko's insult. It was a sudden charge, like a hurtling dump truck. Alice remained still. As though expecting the attack, Aoko swung her right arm in an arc. The blue missile of light was easily repelled. Her magic bullet's snap had little to no effect against the puppets. They scrambled over each other like frogs, head jerking and twisting in search of prey.
全部で30か。悪いけど、一人でやらせてもらうわよ、アリス。このま。
As she spoke to Alice, who was still standing next to the bench, Aoko stepped toward the edge of the platform. From the myriad of regrets she still had from the amusement park, the House of Mir stung the most. She was caught off guard the previous engagement with the puppets. With adequate preparation and confidence, and Alice's backup, she would not let that happen again. Igniting her magic crest, she would have revenge and be vindicated from...
私の後ろまで下がって青子。そこにいたらあなたまで食べてしまう。
It took Alice raising one finger to the sky for Aoko to stop. Are we gonna see a new ploy? Are we gonna see a new kickshaw?
待って、アリス、それは。
In the depths of the ocean black, the bells of night chimed out. The jetty, as if embraced by a sea god like Poseidon or Waratsumi. That's a new sea god, I don't know much about them. It was awash with white particles.
青子のやり方じゃ後が残るでしょう。もうじき次の電車も来るし。それに。
She's like, let me pop super and just be done. From beyond the white veil, her form blurred and stretched upward on tiptoes. Like a melancholy ballerina, the figures surrounding the prima ballerina bristled in response to the strange aura. Though puppets were inhuman mystical vessels, They had a fair more reason to fear Alice than they did the human Aoko. They began to flee. Whoever their master was, they sensed enough danger to order a retreat. However, it was too late. The lead dancer in this ballet had them captivated, unable to move, as if their Achilles tendons had been severed.
それに気分を台無しにされたのはあなただけじゃないわ。
She removed her black glove. Unlike her mansion demeanor, her cool aura morphed into a fierce, biting cold one, freezing all in their tracks. Gloves floated to the ground. The white haze grew ever thicker. The massive shadows cried out for mercy.
さあ、ごっこ遊びをしましょう。
What the frick is she doing? With the dense, nebulous mists, a dark fairy tale manifested. From inside, the only thing seemingly real was the sound of her voice, a macabre melody. What did she even do? Oh my god! Feasting, grinding, crunching. At last the final puppet fell. On the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling. Oh my god. The tragic sounds of their demise filled the air. Jeez. Their twisted shrieks plastered the subway surfaces like indelible blood-like stains. All 30 of the puppets, promptly yet slowly, as though to savor their taste, were completely devoured by the mystifying monster. Was that the Jabberwocky? I feel like it is. Perhaps the Bandersnatch. All save one appendage, a loathsome severed arm on the platform.
持ってきてたのあれ。
Aoko spoke sideways to Alice, making no attempt to hide her disgust. A beast of the fog. One of the three great... Oh, yeah! One of her great three ploy kickshaws. Ploy's kickshaw, weird plural. The Meinster's Rosehound. Vandersnatch, which is, I know that's because Vandersnatch, Bandersnatch, it's the same thing. It was a name carrying immense violence and devastation. Aoko's words stung, since Alice was the one harboring its true form. The great three ploys wielded terrifyingly powerful curses. It was one thing to carry it around for self-defense, but keeping it a secret from her companion did not amuse Aoko in the slightest. It was like going out to eat with a grenade in your pocket.
まあ、次からは一言お願いね。他のプロイならいいけど、今のやつだけは別よ。できれば洋館限定にしてほしいぐらい。
悪かったわ。でも、最近何も食べさせてなかったから。
That's scary. The fact that you have to feed him. Alice walked slowly toward the puppet arm rolling along the platform. What had just occurred made perfect sense. It needed to eat, so she let it eat. But the beast could not be seen, and there was no bloodshed on account of the victims being made of plastic. Sorry. What do you mean no bloodshed? I mean, you're gonna be like, well, that's oil, or that's their internal parts. It's not blood. That looks like bloodshed.
青子、ちょっと。
Alice said, picking up the puppet arm.
これを見て。私たちは今まで相手を人形使いと思っていたけど、
Oh?
正確には違ったみたい。
Maybe I am wrong.
わかる？この人形たちは新しすぎる。この子たちが作られたのは17世紀以後よ。それはそれで信じがたいことだけど。
なんですって。
Though sounded contradictory, automata typically performed better with age. After the 17th century, as the magical concept of using puppets and mannequins declined, automata suitable for combat became harder to produce. In recent years of automata manufacturing, even low-rank familiars to being used in training could be produced inexpensively and with relatively decent quality. Therefore, it was common for modern puppet masters to collect parts made before the 17th century and use them in their creations. The high price of automata often came not from their combat abilities, but the rarity of the parts used to make them. That's so interesting. However, the enemy mage controlling these puppets used them as fodder, as if they grew on trees. The only conclusion could be made, therefore, was that their current opponent was a spoiled, rotten, upstart mage with no territory of their own to control. Or so Alice and Aoko imagined anyway.
それともう一つ。この構造は三崎氏の結界に似ているわ。まるで自分たちこそがこの町を守る兵士だって主張するぐらい。
Alice presented the evidence to Aoko, who was waving away the fog from around her. She felt profound surprise and then rapid realization.
そういうことなのね。
Aoko muttered to herself, violently hurling the arm against the platform. Her face twisted with anger and a hint of fear.
惜しげもなく骨董品を出してくると思ったら、そもそも出し惜しむほどのものじゃなかったわけか。確かにあの女なら町の結界にも反応しないし、私の欠点も知ってて当然。視点の退去だって簡単にやってのけるわよね。
She knows. She knows.
だって。
She knows exactly who it is. Alice quietly looked on in bemusement at Aoko's furious rambling.
アオコ、これを作ったのはそうなの？
ええ。昔から物を作ることに関しちゃずば抜けていたからね。あの人は。
Kind of is. She makes and you destroy, huh? Aoko glared at the severed arm, furious at its creator and herself for taking so long to figure out it was her. It is kind of silly it took you so long. I feel like all the evidence was in place. Then again, if there was...
ようやく合点がいった。
Then again, if there was no evidence it was her and that she would be here in town, then fine, I get it.
認めたくないけど、今回の敵は間違いなく私の姉貴。この土地の元継承者、青崎東子その人よ、アリス。
The desolate subway platform returned to silence, Aoko's words lingering uncomfortably in the air. Oh boy. Oh my god! That's amazing. That's amazing. That's so good. The idea that, like, she represents being the most dangerous creature and she's in the room with him. Oh, it's so good. A short time ago at the Kuonji estate, the videotape finished playing. The VCR had automatically stopped playback, forgoing the need to hit the stop button to avoid the static storm. What remained on screen was the reflection of Sojiro and Toko Ozaki sitting opposite each other in conversation.
秘密を知られたから先生なしの直接攻撃。ね。怪獣作を考えもしないのは青子らしいけど。
I guess you don't have to hide mage secrets with her, but oh boy. It was hard to tell if she was being patronizing or indifferent. Toko Ozaki took a sip from her cup as she listened to Sojiro's story. She would have savored the anecdote about the amusement park kerfuffle if not for the poor excuse for a cup of tea in her hands.
ありがとう。参考になったわ。
Oh, buddy, what are you doing?
ここしばらく青子とは顔を合わせていなかったから、あの子がどんな風に成長したかなんて
Oh, buddy,
想
what are
像
you
するしかなかったし。
doing? But I guess you wouldn't know.
それと、一応肉親として謝っておかないとね。災難に付き合わせて悪かったわ、宗十郎くん。ほんと、あの子ったら昔から迷いってものがなかったから。
なさすぎると思います。
Sojiro was enjoying the conversation despite having to relive those events. About an hour passed while the two of them sat in conversation, neither short on topics to discuss. Aoko was an easy topic for both of them, so the conversation centered mostly around her.
ところで、さっきから気になってることがあるんだけど、聞いていいかな？
With courteous posture, her eyes shined with curiosity. Her elegant demure caused Sojiro's heart to beat faster.
気になってることですか？
Despite his caution, he could not help but show deference? Deference? Show deference to her, sure. Whether Toko found Sojiro charming or not was unclear as she affectionately smiled at him.
ええ。一度目はダッシュで逃げられて驚いたけど、
今日は違った意味で驚かされた。ね、そういうのが若い子たちの流行りなの？
I knew she was gonna ask.
はい。
Toko tilted her head, her eyes fixated on the collar that Aoko had given him snugly wrapped around his neck.
新手のチョーカー？でもどこから見ても、ほら。
It absolutely is. The bespectacled woman did her best to hold her tongue. On a completely unrelated note, in another decade, similar accessories would become a standard part of any Visual K artist's wardrobe. That is very true. That is very true. He is ahead of the time. I also do not like the idea of Visual K style Sojiro at all. That scares me. And if you don't know what Visual K is, give it a Google. You will immediately know.
まさかどこから見ても首輪ですよ。犬用の。
Mm-hmm.
やっぱり？けどその首はすごく可愛いわ。よく似合ってるけど自分でつけたの？
Toko stared intently, examining the strap. That... I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. While he had never been very conscious of the collar till now, for some reason, Sojiro found himself blushing. I too would be if I was thinking about Toko's strap.
はい。つけたのは自分ですけど。
I wanted to be like, good for you! Yay! You're learning.
そうじゃなくて、誰からもらったの？青子？それともクオンジさん？
くれたのは青子ですね。
Toko simply nodded in satisfaction at Sojiro's candid response.
つまり、君は青子の持ち物なわけか。
Oh my god. She coldly muttered. With this, the cordial atmosphere began to turn. Sojiro nodded, naturally oblivious to the sting in her words.
何でも所有されてるそうです。
He said casually, causing Toko to burst out in laughter. Toko was the quirky she's just a little quirky. Toko was the quirky type person to laugh when least appropriate. As her laugh tapered off into a giggle, she picked up her now empty teacup.
じゃあ、これも青子のでしょ？
She's
青っていう
going
名前
to
にコンプ
destroy
レッ
it.
クスがあるくせに、青いものが割と好きだから。
She's gonna destroy it.
そうですけど、おかわりしますか？二人ともまだ帰ってきそうにありませんから。
She's going to throw that at the floor and be like, oh, you thought I liked my sister?
いいえ、そろそろ帰ってくる頃よ。そういう風に仕向けたから。
Okay. Sojiro casually nodded, still clueless to the premeditation of her visit. But then the strangeness of her phrasing dawned on him, and he tilted his head in confusion.
トウコさん。
Toko sighed once in response.
ごめんね、宗十郎くん。メガネ外してもいいかしら。
He wondered why she would need to ask his approval, but nodded away anyway to confirm his consent.
それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。もう少しぐらいは君の反応を見ていたかったけど。
Does she have mystic eyes? Is that why she wears glasses? Have I forgotten this, or is this new? Toko touched the temples of her glasses. If you were to look close enough, you would have noticed how her slender fingers were scarred. Oh. Small, fine scars from years of repeated cuts. Instantly, her glasses fell away from her face, resigned to their fateful fall. It happened so fast, Sojiro barely understood what he saw. The frame cracked into pieces as it slid down her face and onto her lap.
やるもんだ。30体を一瞬とはね。
What? Toko could sit behind her veneer no longer. By removing her glasses, the elegant lady of moments ago was gone. Any semblance of warmth and kindness had disappeared. Yeah, this is what I was more looking for. What sat on the sofa was one deplorable mage, her demeanor darkening the room. Sojiro sat speechless on the sofa. Across from him was a completely changed Toko glaring back at him menacingly. More malice and magical energy was now emanating from Toko than when Aoko tried to kill Sojiro. She sat titillated at the prospect of the young boy's shock and fear at her transformation. Such expectations, however, were often left unfulfilled when it came to Sojiro.
メガネ壊れましたね。
He's so worried. Sojiro blurted out in surprise. Her hand stopped as she reached for a cigarette, the wind taken out of her sails.
もったいない。
Like sisters, you
大丈
know?
夫ですかそれ。
いや、そんなものはいいんだ。多少視力が落ちたところで大ごとにはならないし。そもそも私がある限り、五感による情報にすら主観が入る。
What?
すべてこの世は霧の中だ。もともと目に見えるだけのものは信じていないたちでね。
What? Her speech had taken on a clinical tone. This too did not seem to shake. You are underestimating how stupid this guy is.
そうですか。それでさっきの言葉の意味ですけど。
Sojiro began unflinchingly. Toko scowled back at him. After some consideration, she came to the conclusion she needed to be blunt with the boy. By some twist of fate, it was a headache she now unknowingly shared with her sister. Yep.
意味も何もない。青子たちの帰り道に多少の障害を置いただけだ。君は青子の持ち物だと言ったな。ならことさら丁寧に教えてやる必要もない。告白してしまうとね、宗十郎君。私が君たちの敵なんだ。
I want her to drop a little bit of ash on the sofa and Sojiro just go for her. Like, how dare you? That's fine Gregorian leather. Though he understood her words, the clock's second hand would rotate fully twice before anyone next spoke. They sat across from each other, eyes locked. Sojiro's shoulders tightened nervously. He had finally understood the true danger of the situation.
驚いた。
Toko asked with a grin. Despite the spitting image of each other, without her glasses, Toko's smile was rather
あ
sinister.
なたは青崎の姉なのに。
Her smile pierced him as he asked the obvious. Toko was no longer surprised that Sojiro would be more concerned about the safety of others over his own. In just one short hour, she'd come to understand Sojiro Shizuki better than he knew himself.
逆だよ。姉だから敵なんだ。
Yep.
私には青子からあらゆる権利を奪う義務がある。物質的なものも精神的なものも、そのすべてを踏みにじらなければ気が済まない。尺度として言うなら、もし青子がこの町に頼っていたのなら、まず町から壊していたぐらい。
Dang.
けど、君のことは予想外だった。
Toko, her eyes closed, felt sorrow. Behind her troubled expression, there was a silent conflict.
世の平等に起こるべきか、偶然の出会いとやらに嘆くべきか。これも抑止力というやつかな。
Sorry, why are we talking about the counterforce? What? I don't know if I should be angry at the world for being impartial or lament. What? Why are we talking about the counterforce? Is he a counterforce guardian? No.
無垢な部外者を手にかけるのは世の常だが、この手合いにあったのは初めてだ。
I swear to God. There's fireworks outside. Why? It is February 9th. There is no reason for this. Anyways, are you telling me that the frickin' kitten that died at the start was brought back to be a counterforce guardian through... I'm going crazy here. There's no way.
そもそもいるなどと考
What?
えたことすらなかったな。
What is he? What is he? Toko sighed at the ceiling and stirred in her seat. She seemed to have overcome an unexpected moment of uncertainty.
君は青子の切り札には見えない。排除しておくまでもない。善良かつ無能な部外者だ。
I am just... Who is he?
だから放っておきたいのだけど、私の六感がこう告げているんだ。
More plainly put, she made up her mind to kill him. Again, This is simultaneously the face of someone being told that you're going to be killed, and also, we've run out of, like, ice cream. Though Sojiro was somewhat flattered at how she was grossly inflating his importance in all this, what dawned on him was the fact that, through karmic irony, Toko had inevitably arrived at the same conclusion as her sister. However, this was no time for idle thoughts. Sojiro readied himself to stand up from the sofa in such a way as to not draw attention to the plan so clearly written all over his face, and make a run for it.
バカ者。こういう時は半端に動くな。逃げるならさっさと逃げる。交渉するならテコでも動くな。なんというか、そんな風に動かれると、その気がなくともつい反応してしまうだろう。ほら、命が惜しいのなら、おとなしく固まっていなさい。
殺さないんですか？
今のところはね。私は君が気に入ったし。いや、違うな。正しくはこう。
What?
私ぐらいしか君を救ってあげられないのかも。
Okay.
かな。
Because to put him into a puppet, but why would he need to be saved? Does my man have like cancer or something?
はい。
She looked at the perplexed Sojiro straight in the eyes. Though actually brown, her eyes gleamed a piercing red like the edge of a blade. Those are mystic eyes. She has mystic eyes. I think that was a thing in the fifth Garden of Sinners movie in the fight, right? Garden of Sinners, the Spiral movie, right? Paradox Spiral. Doesn't she? Well, there's the shots of her with her eyes, right? I'm just on the wiki page here. Well, that's not the wiki page that I want. I don't recall if her mystic eyes were a thing there. But then again, knowing Toko, she can just pop them in and take them out and put them into another puppet body, right? So it doesn't really matter. It was at this moment an overwhelming sense of dizziness overcame Sojiro. So were those mystic eye killers she was wearing then? His mind went numb, like he couldn't tell who he was. As if he was drifting into a sinister sleep from which he'd never wake. Sojiro clenched his jaw, desperate to maintain consciousness. Toko's eyes devoured him like a bottomless pit of quicksand, and in that moment it all became clear to him. It no longer mattered that she was Aoko's sister, or that she was Alice's sworn enemy. Toko Ozaki's deadly battle with the girls had become his battle. Which is why, when you find yourself feeling a special spark for a stranger met mere moments ago, that feeling is not to be trusted. That is good life advice. For you may simply be attempting to fill an emptiness with the same mold as yours, with more emptiness. Dang, VG advisor, am I right, gamers? Sojiro tried to drag his body away from this heretofore an unencountered sense of danger, but found that it would not respond. Sometimes I just see a word and I'm like, you were bet money to put that in here. Toko tilted her head forward at him, eyes fixated on his.
君の思う通り、私は君と似たところがある。それとも君が私に近いのかな。何？食べ物の好き嫌い程度の類似だが、軽視することでもない。
Okay, my thought about him being a puppet might be real.
問題は、君が私より偏っているということでね。
Biased. She clearly used a different definition of the word than the one Sojiro knew. Biased. It meant that he was alone, that he was an outsider who didn't belong in this town. A sudden and seething anger eclipsed his gentle heart. Whoa!
一人じゃないですけど。
That is a new face. Sojiro shot back with all the enmity he could muster as he faced the witch named Toko Ozaki. If he had not, he feared he would never escape her gaze.
だろうな。だからこそ君は偏っているんだ。早くそれに気づきなさい。人間なんてたくましいもんでね。 別に何もかも放り投げてもうまくいくものなのさ。けれど青子にはそれは許せない。あれは他人であれ、あらゆることを許さない人間だからな。
Toko leaned over the table. She reached out, grabbed Sojiro's collar, and roughly pulled him toward her. Is he gonna get a smooch?
いや、そんなことはいいんだ。ただ純粋に私は君が欲しいと思った。君が自分の名前すら定かではないと名乗った時にね。
I'm gonna be real, buddy. This ain't a bad deal.
自分の認識が不明で自分自身が不能と感じる。未来というものがとても自分に関わりのあることとは思えない。となれば必然、心情は過去への逆行を試みる。しかし、所詮ソアの前のモアのように正常な流れの前には時間旅行は押し戻されてしまう。
What the frick? Just as moi, the lesser self, comes before soi, the greater self, these are new terms. The normal flow of time will always reject time travel. Yeah, time travel is supposed to be like kind of impossible in the Nasuverse. Like real time travel. They have to do fake weird time travel.
それも私にあって君にあるものだ。
What? Why are we talking time travel?
なんて無様な私。なんて哀れな。
Toko trailed off mid-sentence. As she pulled Sojiro closer, her own eyes reflected in his, she noticed the merciful expression on her face. Sojiro got to thinking. He had no hostility toward this woman. He bore her no grudge, harbored no desire to kill her. He was aware only of his anger and aimless compassion. He wished that he could give her the answers she wanted, but...
あなたの言っていることはよくわからない。
Sojiro replied apologetically, a verbal reply to the visible question he perceived in her eyes. Toko showed no sign of disappointment. Instead, the corners of her lips turned upward in delight.
そうか。君には言葉の暗示は通じないんだな。
I do though, keep talking.
意味深なセリフ回しで丸飲みにしてやろうとも思ったが、いや失敗。小綺麗な建前は逆効果。
That also works for me. You could do that too.
むき出しの原始的な語りの方が良かったんだな。いいよ。ますます気に入った。
Her fingers dug in. Oh, never mind. That's not as hot, because now there's violence. Her fingers dug into his throat as if she was tearing at the leather. Perhaps he could be hers, if only she could rip it off.
少年。青子なぞより私のもとに来い。使い道はないが保護ぐらいはしてやろう。手が空いた時なら気晴らしに愛してやってもいい。
Once again, I'm gonna want you to actually consider this, buddy. There are positives and negatives to this. It had taken many approaches, but she seemed to have decided on this one. The lengths to which she went to seduce him were not lost on Sojiro, and truth be told, they were not wholly unwelcome. My man knows it. My man's like, okay, alright. But back to the matter at hand.
それはお断りします。
Sojiro chose the direct response as he did.
なぜ？
だってあなたのためにならない。
True. He had confidence in that at least. Toko's overestimation of him aside, Sojiro knew for a fact that he had to escape this woman's clutches. This tete-a-tete could only be concluded by one of its two participants, Toko, or the individual who she was currently infatuated with. On a hunch, the boy mustered all of the conviction he could feign. She gently removed her hand from his collar and jabbed him in the chest, causing him to topple back onto the sofa.
そうか。なら仕方がない。君も青子の大切な持ち物として考えることにしよう。
The scarred... Oh my god, Wait! Scarred Red. Right, that was her nickname, right? Wasn't that the nickname that they gave her? Toko Aozaki nickname? Wasn't it, okay, so from this wiki it says Dirty Red, but that might just be another translation of it. Huh. Yeah, Scarred Red. Dang. Well now, okay. Oh. For some reason, when I heard the name Scarred Red and I asked, like, what does that mean? Why was she called that? I thought it was referred to as more like she did something to like scar or dirty her reputation. But is it just that she has a lot of scars on her fingers? Because if so, that's hella lame.
青子が帰ってくる頃だから、私は行くよ。青子では私には勝てない。
I
だけ
am
伝えておいてくれればいい。
shocked that you're not taking more action here.
それはいいんですけど。
Sojiro's reply from the sofa stopped the exiting Toko in her tracks. Then, like a student humbly inquiring of a teacher, Sojiro pointed to the object in Toko's hand and asked,
そのカップどうするんです？
She's gonna shatter it. Surprised, she looked down at the teacup in her right hand that she had forgotten she was holding. She hadn't even realized that she had been holding the cup the entire time.
これ？
Or steal it.
せっかくだからもらっていく。
Yeah, all of her property is yours. That's her whole thing. The act of taking something without the owner's permission is commonly referred to as theft. Thank you, Kenokunasu, for that deep writing. However, this is more likely the typical relationship between Ako and Toko, share and share alike, and so forth. Sojiro nodded to show that he understood. Unsure if his nod was sincere or not, Toko smiled that gleeful grin for the second time since taking her glasses off.
やはり変わり種だね、君は。逸材かどうかは別の話だが。
For just a moment, she returned to the affable Toko Ozaki he met before the glasses came off. Leaving him with the image of her smile, she departed the mansion. Her broken glasses remained sitting on the drawing room table. Frick.
ただいま。
Oh my god, okay, well, we're gonna need to call it here. That was tense. That was certainly tense. A lot more than I expected, honestly. I'm gonna hit that save here. Yeah, we're home. Okay, Portrait of the Aozakis is a good name. That's a good name. Let me look here. So we've got... God, I love the fact that you can look at all of this. Also nice that we don't have to worry about missing anything here. Really, that's there. And then... Oh my god, the backgrounds are here? Son of a gun, this is gonna make making videos so much easier. Well, holy crap. Kinda wish I knew about that. Dang, bro, okay. Kinda wish I knew that. I was looking... Is she on the couch here? Or did we not get... Oh, we probably have to finish the scene to get all the CG, right? I just wanted to see her on the couch again. Because, I mean, you know, yeah, we probably have to just complete that scene. Okay, well, where are we about? Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll continue with some more next time. There's a non-zero chance we will literally just finish this scene in like a second after, but it is what it is. Thank you all for watching, guys. We'll see you next time for some more Let's Read Witch on the Holy Night. Ciao.